show, we will be discussing the effects of underage drinking. In a little while, I will have two guests, Arlette Leba and Alex Baker, to answer questions about teens and drinking. Please welcome on today's show Arlette Leba and Alex Baker. My first question is for Arlette. Does drinking affect your relationships?
Yes, especially if people don't like the way you act when you're drunk. They won't want to be near you, consequentially making that relationship deteriorate. With relationships at home, your parents will look at you differently. They'll be disappointed, they'll treat you differently, and try to control you more, which will make arguments spring up. If your friends are into drinking, they'll encourage you to stop, but if you don't, they won't put up with it and they'll just leave.
Thank you, Arlette. Now, Baker, do you have any comments about that question?
No, I agree with Arlette that drinking does affect your relationships.
Okay. So for my second question, Baker, does drinking affect your academic status?
Yes, I believe drinking does affect your academic status. If kids go out drinking on the weekends, that's all they're really thinking about. They're not thinking about their school or anything academically, homework, projects. And by not caring about their school, they're going to go out and make bad decisions. And they're not doing good in school, they're not going to get the good grades they need to get to college. And in today's world, you're nothing without a college degree, and you're not going to get anywhere. So drinking affects your academics majorly.
Thank you. Arlette, do you have any comments about Baker's question?
I completely agree with her.
Thank you. Now on to our third question, which is for both of you. Do you agree or disagree that it is the responsibility of the host of the party where there is alcohol to provide either a place to sleep or transportation for the guests that are too intoxicated to drive? Arlette, first response.
No, I don't think that, because the host is throwing the party. They have the alcohol there, but it's up to the guests to say whether or not they want to be responsible and drink or not. So no, it should be up to the guests to make their decision.
Baker?
I disagree with you. I believe that it is up to the host. If the host is choosing to have a party, we're talking about teenagers here, the teenagers aren't allowed to be drinking anyway. So if a host is having a party and if their parents know or they don't know, they need to provide a way home, because if teens are drinking and getting in the car, it's going to be 10 times worse than an adult drinking and getting in a car. So the host needs to provide a ride home, because God forbid anything happens to these people as they're leaving. The host is not responsible, and not directly responsible, but indirectly they do hold a responsibility for that person if they're injured or if anything bad happens to them. So the host does need to provide a place to sleep or other transportation.
Thank you both for being on the show today. And for everyone else, please stay tuned for a clip involving a school-wide approach against teen drinking. Thank you.
I, Tracy Cadgan.
I,
Alethea Wright.
Bilal Gillard.
I, Genesis Rolla.
I, Francine Matias.
I'm Miranda.
I, Elena.
I, Will McHugh, pledge to abstain from drinking alcohol.
I promise to remain sober until such a time that I am able to drink legally.
I promise to stay away from drinking at parties and to be responsible and act as a designated driver for those students who choose to drink.
I pledge to avoid endangering both my own life and the lives of those around me.
I pledge to be a role model for my fellow classmates and to not give in to peer pressure. Furthermore, I pledge to drink responsibly when I am of the age to drink legally.
Underage drinking is one of the largest problems in America today. Many of the students have access to alcohol and tend to group together at parties while drinking illegally. Many of us do not understand the consequences that are tied together with underage drinking. At our ages, our prefrontal cortexes are not developed enough to protect ourselves and control our levels of reason. This is the reason that teens are considered reckless, which, in addition to alcohol, leads to many dangerous situations that can lead to death or at the least severe injury. We are also smaller than most fully grown adults, which means that we cannot consume the same amount of alcohol and still be unscathed. The next time you are confronted with a situation where you are tempted to drink illegally, step back, think about the consequences, and decide whether or not the benefits truly outweigh the consequences.